Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and the Son, Yahweh Bashmiel, Shah Bashmiel Rakah Quadash, and double honor to the apostles of the great millstone, and as well as giving the salutations thereof towards the Yakim, that's forwarding this truth worldwide. And shalom to the brothers and the sisters too, as well, that are heeding to these lessons as we give them to you. And once again, it's your brother Laban. And in covering also, as well as even down here in the UK, you have Christianity on a decline, as this article will go and show. And, as it reads, England and Wales are now minority Christian countries for the first time since census data collection began, with less than half of the population describing themselves as Christians, and a big increase in the proportion of people saying they have no religion. The change are significant in a country with an established church. The Church of England is afforded influence and privileges that some argue are out of kilter with a falling proportion of the population identifying as Christians. For example, 4,632 state schools in England are run by the C of E Anglican bishops, sit and vote in the House of Lords, and the only other country that reserves seats in its legislature for clerics is Iran. A significant share of public broadcasting is devoted to Christian programs. Justin Welby, the Archbishop of Canterbury, as you can see him over here, will preside over the next year's coronation of King Charles III. According to the most recent census data taken in 2021 and published this year, 46.2% of English and Welsh population say they are Christians, a decline of 13.1 percentage points since the last census in 2011. Even so, Christian remained the most common response to the religion question. No religion was the second most common response, increasingly by 12% points to the 37.2% since 2011. And London was the most religious city, mainly because of its diversity, while the least religious places were all in Wales, Caerphilly, Blaenau, Gwent, and Rhoda, Sin and Taff in England, and the least religious place were Brighton and Hove. And these are all areas within England. All right, if you're in a different country, if you didn't know that. Norwich and Bristol, and all 6 places were majority no religion. So as I just read to you, this year what they found out, last year, is that 46.2% of people down here in the UK categorize themselves as Christians. And to be honest with you, for the most part, most of the people that I've walked across or came across didn't really say they were believers of as they say, Jesus the Christ, but as this article is given away, as I've just read already, is the fact that the number of those that are claiming to be Christians are dwindling. A great decline of 13.1%, and that's quite a bit if you ask me. All right, and you think about England and America, especially, like, these countries were Christian shouting countries back in the day. All right, it was a well-known fact around the world that these are the 2 countries that represent Christianity to the highest degree. And now we live in a time where that's no longer the case anymore, and that's all to do because, this is just my reasoning as to why that's the case, because we live in a more of an informational time where people are getting information and being a little bit more, what's the word I want to look for? Being a bit more mentally independent, have you will, due to this age. And that's probably the reason as to why. But the ultimate reason as to why most people are leaving the Christian churches, because Christianity doesn't answer the questions to why this and that's going on, especially among our people. And that's why a lot of our people are leaving the Christian churches and they're becoming Hebrew Israelites, or they're finding their way to different beliefs or getting involved in witchcraft. Just to be real about that. And so there you have it. And as well as even these Edomites too. These Edomites, or should I say these speckled birds that were once a part of the Christian church, no longer see the significance of it anymore. And the ultimate reason why that is because, as lies usually do, they wear off. They don't last forever. Proverbs 12:19, the lips of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. And what is the truth? The truth is that we are God's chosen people. And we're not saying this because we want to formulate a doctrine and we want to declare our supremacy. We're supreme because the Most High wanted us to be supreme. It wasn't because we wanted to be. It was because that was the will of the Lord. And so we have it. We are the Israelites. And as well as everyone always knew this, these other nations and as well as their governments around the world knew that the so-called African Americans, so-called West Indians and Haitians and the Northern Kingdom, as well as the Latinos and Native American Indians, were always the Israelites. They knew this. So we're not saying anything that is not a truth, but the truth. And that's what we stand for, especially here at the Great Millstone. We stand for the truth. Okay? We're the number one advocates for the complete truth. And as well as you have on YouTube and different outlets, truthers. But as I will say again, we're the number one truthers. We're the apex when it comes to truth among these truthers. 2nd Ezra 6 and verse. Let's begin by reading verse 27. You know what? I'll start with verse. Let's get over. Let's get to this right here. Let's get over in reading verse 27. So as this reads, for evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. And as for faith, it shall flourish, and corruption shall be overcome. And the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared. And this is what we have today. The truth that is being declared is the fact that we're the Israelites. It's the fact that the Lord did not die for everybody, and he only died for the nation of Israel to save those that were under the covenant that he gave to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and also belonging to those 12 patriarchs that brought forth their seed of their own tribe. So these are they whom he has died for. Okay, and that's who he's coming to collect. The elect, to be exact as well. The Israelites. That's who the Lord is only concerned with, and that's the truth. All right. And that can't forget in that these so-called Caucasians or so-called white people or JEWs, that they're the devil that the Bible speaks about. They're the evil that the Bible speaks about. And that's coming out as well in the Bible, or should I say out of the Bible. All right. And many other things that we declare openly on the streets. So that's what's really exponentially growing in these times. It's this truth. So now I'm going to read this one more time. The lips of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue but for a moment. So all of the lies that Esau has brought forth, and even including Jake, because when you really go into the history after the official Roman Empire fell, you had the other side of Rome that was rising up, and that was the western side of Rome, which had a lot of Jakes influencing that part of Rome, and they took over. And then you had these church fathers, which came around the 4th century, the middle of the 4th century, which was around 320 to 30 AD, which these church fathers got down to business because of Constantinople. which he commissioned the Council of Nicaea, 325 A.D. to be exact, and they were just putting a spin on what was being taught before they came on the scene. Because you had obviously the disciples, you had Yahushua, and you had the Apostle Paul and his men, and they were teaching the same thing that Yahushua and the disciples were teaching. So what they did was these men came, centuries later, and put a spin or remix on what was being taught. And this is where you get Christianity today, adding pagan doctrines in there. And as the time progressed, when Esau took over the rulership and took over this doctrine, he also put additives in there, and that's what Christianity is made out of. It's made out of, for one, it's a false pseudo religion, contrary to what was being taught 2,000 years ago, and as well as you have a lot of additions that have been added in there, and as well as these higher holy days that so-called Christians are supposed to celebrate are not even in association with the Bible, period. All right. So when you really check it out, it's all Babel. It's all Babylonianism, Christianity, when you really go and do the research, which is what we've done. And this is why it's not standing the test of time at all, because it's a lie. That's why a lot of people are not really calling themselves believing in this religion anymore, and it's declining. And like I said, back in the day, when we was young, or even days when we weren't even on the earth, England and America were Christian shouting countries. A lot of people believed in God in a Christian way. Okay. And guess what you have now as well? While you have that going on, people leaving the Christian churches, people are also turning into witchcraft as well. Down here in the UK, there's a lot of people that have left the churches and left their religion, or whatever religion they came from, out of Christianity, just to follow some form of witchcraft. So the thing of it is, the greatest lies ever told and the greatest religions that were built on these lies is all tarnishing apart. And guess what's also on the rise? This truth, that we're the Israelites, and it's proliferating all around the planet. And I also want to read this too. This is Deuteronomy 32 and verse 2. Actually, verse 1. Give ear, O ye heavens, and I will speak, and hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. My doctrine shall drop as the rain, and my speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass, because I will publish the name of the Lord and ascribe ye greatness unto our power. And this is what's happening right now. The doctrine of Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai, which was once upon a time crossed out, is now being invigorated, and it's spreading. Okay? And the first camp that was ever to go global was GMS. And we're still growing thereby even while we're global. And also, even though these guys are going off, IUIC, they're also gone global too. And this truth is becoming a thorn in the flesh of these JEWs. So much so that eventually they're going to wind up wanting to put a stop to the freedom of speech, and to eventually go for the persecution, because that's a hindrance to them. That serves not a good purpose for these people, for us to be calling ourselves what we really are. Because if we are calling ourselves this, and people are aware of this, and as well as I've even seen as well on YouTube, people saying that concerning the Kanye West situation and the Kyrie Irving situation, and you got even Edomites that are supporting the fact that we're actually telling the truth about who we are, and as well as they said that they've always known that we were the Israelites. And what makes matters worse for these JEWs is the fact that there was a group of Edomites there was a group of those Confederate, flag bearing Edomites, which is on a particular article somewhere, but they came out in supporting of what Kanye West was saying. All right. So this truth is out there, man, and it's becoming something of that of a thorn in the flesh of these JEWs. All right. But regardless of what, the knowledge of the Lord is going to be published more and more until his return. All right. And as it is written, the Lord have he have set up his prophets, and they shall teach knowledge and understanding after his own heart. So this is why we're publishing this word. And that's how the Lord is publicating his name, by sending his men before time and declaring his name, and as well as the doctrine which cometh out of his name. All right. If you know what I'm saying on that regard, because it's through his name this truth is being publicated. So this is Matthew 24 and verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all of the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. And this is, like I said, this is already going on right now. You got a brother over in Nigeria. You got a couple of brothers in Australia that's pushing the word. As I can remember, I remember seeing 2 camps in Australia, and there's probably a camp in France somewhere. There's several camps down here in the UK. You have you have 2 camps, 2 GMS camps down here in the UK. You have the central camp, and as well as you have my camp. But my camp obviously comes from their camp, branch from the original camp. And you even have men down here in the UK that are not in GMS that are also teaching what we teach too. So in different parts of the world, you have different camps just popping up out of nowhere. You even have camps in South Central America. You have a camp in Brazil. You have camps in Bolivia. So when Moses was singing this song, which he was really talking about the doctrine of the Heavenly Father. My doctrine shall drop as the rain, my speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass, because I will publish the name of the Lord. Yahweh, ascribe ye greatness unto our power. And this is what we're doing. As it is written, blessed are the feet of those that publish. Let me see if I could pull that out. This is it right here. Isaiah 52 verse 7. How beautiful upon the mountain